up, Sauce Gang, and welcome back to the channel. Hot Sauce Beats here with another Skibidi toilet reaction for you because we're about to check out Isotoilet's All Secrets Inside Skibidi Toilet's Base, episode 68, part 2, analysis and theory. And fam, I gotta call it. I'm always keeping it honest with you. Isotoilet called a lot of this stuff. We all think there's a traitor amongst the people inside the bunker, and I'm really curious to see what Isotoilet has to say about this last episode, because it was insane. But what else is insane is tomorrow, Friday at 11 a.m. Eastern, I'm premiering my Skibidi Toilet original song, Simping for a TV Woman, featuring Elite Cameraman and a secret custom scene by Dom Studio, and they also made the thumbnail as well. I can't wait for you guys to see it, but to make sure you don't miss it, we're so close to 100,000 subs, so you might as well smash that subscribe button and join the Sauce Gang family. Show Isotoilet some love and subscribe to their channel too, but enough talking, let's get to reacting and roll that bomb ass intro.
Hot Sauce Beats is finally here. Hot Sauce Beats is finally here. Eat, sleep, make beats. Eat, sleep, make beats.
Hot Sauce Beats. Woo, woo. Oh, it's time. I can't wait for you guys to hear this song. Let's see what Iso's got to say, chat.
Hello, everyone. Finally, the long-awaited second part of episode 68 of the Skibidi Toilet original series was being released, and I am here to explain you everything that went on here. I know that my analysis
Everybody in the club
posted
get
a bit
tipsy.
later than other creators' videos, but I took my time to dig so much deeper into this episode.
So deep.
In my analysis,
deep.
you'll learn about such secrets and details of this episode that couldn't be found in videos. So watch this video until the end, not to miss anything. What's actually happening inside of the bunker leading to the Skibidi main base? Who are those new Skibidi we saw there? Who's the friend and who's the traitor in the elite alliance squad? And is Skibidi Scientist the real boss here, or he's just a pawn too? I'll answer all these questions for you guys, and also explain all the details and Easter eggs I managed to find in this episode. Now get your tea and snacks ready, as we're here for a crazy ride. We'll witness something full of mysteries, plot twists, drama, and losses. Put all your business aside and prepare to watch this video until the end, as it'll be very interesting. Let's go. The episode starts with the scene where two speakermen from the Alliance squad beat the crap out of Skibidi toilets equipped with some sort of metal claws on the sides of their toilet tanks. They are also wearing glasses covering their eyes. But unlike the sunglasses meant to protect Skibidi from TV men's glow, those ones are with proper glass frames, indicating that those toilets are all scientists working in the Skibidi base. Also, that would explain these metal claws they got for themselves, as they are smarter and more upgraded than usual Skibidi.
They're definitely...
By the way, I talked about it for a long time.
I think there's some of the first ones that we've seen, chat. There's some of the first ones that we've seen of just like regular toilets, but with the all-out metal upgrades. So, yeah, they're special scientists. Like they're the real deal, the legit ones.
Have something
smarty
besides
pants.
Their silly heads to protect
You got glasses
themselves.
and a clipboard. You're probably smart.
So finally, in this episode, those little toilets got the claws they can use as melee weapons. After that, we can observe all these guys we saw in the fourth part of episode 67 and in the beginning of episode 68 in order to refresh our memory. There's this speakerman with a baseball bat, which is a reference to Negan from the Walking Dead series.
Yeah, it is.
Doing the tough work here.
Lucille, I think's the bat's name.
There's the speakerman in the red tie behind him, just rubbing his battle knife and watching the whole thing from the distance. Bro, are you done fighting just seconds ago yourself, or have you simply decided to take a rest right at the base's entrance? Yeah, he's the weird one. I'm not sure about stabbing a toilet because as the camera moves to the left, we've been shown our stylish boy, the speaker man in the red shirt with the black head, carrying two knives as his favorite weapon. And I think it was him who slayed the toilet we can see lying on the side in the background. Now check out the big cameraman in the bright blue shirt. If you guys remember, that's our POV from the fourth part of episode 67, who literally flew into the bunker. He still has his rockets launchers on his back that we saw in action in episode before, but he doesn't need to use them inside of the bunker yet, which is a smart move, as he simply snaps the neck of another Skibidi toilet with claws he holds in his hands.
He dies.
But now those buddies aren't even a danger to our squad, but its members are still on guard. This cameraman on the left side from big blue-shirted guy is watching the left passageway, and the two cameramen in identical suits and ties are in their fighting stances with guns ready.
I don't know what I think about that dude, man, with the green electric fingers.
By this cameraman works. I believe it was changed in this episode. Let's compare it with episode 54. This time, a lot of blue sparks started flying around the affected Skibidi, while in previous times it was just a beam and a small blue flash. And what I found highly suspicious in this scene right away is this cameraman in the gray suit and red shirt on the very left. Do you remember him, though? We saw him a couple of times throughout the series, and by the way, I'm planning to release a video on him and his twin brother with the blackhead really soon. There's a pile of material I have on this guy.
I'm interested, Iso.
So I'm going to tell you everything about him from the previous episodes in a separate video. In this analysis, though, I'm going to refer primarily to his actions in this episode and the fourth part of episode 67 only. And as you guys remember from my previous analyses, I said I was almost sure this guy's not as simple as he may look like. There are two theories I have about him, but I'll explain it to you a bit later. So watch this video until the end to understand everything fully. So, in the end of the fourth part of episode 67, this red-shirted cameraman seemed to be controlling the panel opening the bunker door. Maybe with the Dafuk's help. And just in the moment when Plungerman was supposed to enter the bunker as well, red-shirted cameraman let the door go, so Plungerman was only able to get in with the sacrifice of Big Speakerman holding it on his shoulders.
Oh, Sevens,
this
large
guy
Speakerman
really seemed like a traitor to me.
You're missed,
and based
homie.
on the way he behaves in this episode, my thoughts are actually being proven more and more truthful. Look at the way he just stands here by the wall, not even equipping his weapon and waiting for his friends to do all the dirty work.
He's like, what?
He really does have
do the
something
hard work,
different
bro.
in
I ain't
mind.
doing nothing. I'm on
Speaking
break.
of Plungerman,
Break
it
time.
turns out that this is our POV for today's episode, which I find to be sick as hell. By the way, let's take a closer look at the emblem on the inner side of those metal gates. I am sure that this is the depiction of G-Man shooting two yellow lasers from his eyes. Then we can see how red-shirted cameraman with the hypno gun behind his back comes closer to the next panel and uses his special tool on it once again. The other cameraman looks at him almost in disbelief and reaches out his hand, probably asking for such a device himself, but surely the red shirt cameraman ignores his request.
He's like, nah, bro, this
so
is some
the reached out
top
hand
secret
turns
tech.
out into a thumbs
You don't need
up
this
real
top
quick
secret
in
tech.
order to camouflage this social awkward moment. By the way, guys, I'd really appreciate you putting a like under this video as well, as I put a lot of efforts into it, and I'm grateful for all your support.
Toilet, come on, homie. You know we got you, dude.
But moving on now.
We all about that support,
bro.
bro.
Opens up, we see something really interesting. Look at this elderly scientist toilet with something that looks pretty much like a phone or a tablet in his hands.
It's a clipboard.
But in the other scene, we'll actually find out it was a notepad, not some sort of device. But even in that case, I'm quite amazed by how advanced those ordinary toilets became now, as they are now able to read and even write, considering the metal claws they
super
upgraded
advanced
themselves with. By the way, check out this sick move POV Plungerman does to this poor old scientist toilet. It's the exact same battle move we saw in episode 39, which proves that it may actually be the same Plungerman.
Gotcha!
And now look at this thing right there. Do you remember the speakerman with the red tie rubbing his knife instead of fighting Skibidi properly? Now he's kind of trying to take part in a battle too, but look at him.
He don't look like he really wants to be there.
He barely pocks his knife into this hypnotized Skibidi as if he was a snob or something. And by the way, dude, don't you think that you're not going to deal a ton of damage with a technique like that? And is there any point in poking like that at all, as this Skibidi is already under the upgraded Hypnogun's influence and is about to flush himself as it was shown in the very beginning of the episode? I really love this dude. He almost made me laugh. The camera moves to the left, and we see the shady red shirt cameraman with his secret tool being ready. He manipulates with another panel once again, and now what seems to be an elevator entrance from the left is about to get opened. He then quickly hides his tool under his coat, but POV Plungerman already saw that trick. The red shirt cameraman gives him a quick gesture, which may be interpreted as, "Come on, come here, this is the way." But POV Plungerman does not seem to be bothered with this guy's signals. It looks like he wants to get this tool to have a closer look at him. Or maybe he figured out that it was this cameraman who controlled the door at the base's entrance. And it was due to his actions that POV Plungerman nearly got beheaded. In any case, POV briefly point the finger to the red shirt cameraman, probably to the direction where that guy hid the panel controlling tool. He takes a few confident steps towards the opponent. But as there was a literal second before something could have been started between those two, something unexpected happens. Some sort of yellow cargo claw enters the hall from the right side in order to take one of the large green boxes. By the way, do you guys see those smaller boxes next to the wall in this hall? Yep, that's right. Those are the box models from the game called Half-Life 2. Also, I do believe there are
good catch, bro.
That
This is another reason why I really love Isotoilet's channel, is he's really good at catching these small details that A, you wouldn't even think about, and B, you know, the other channels just don't catch. And when you watch all of them together, you get a more complete story. And that's why I love this.
Be contained in there that we could see multiple times before throughout the whole series. Ignoring the red shirt cameraman requests, POV Plungerman runs right after the cargo claw, passing the hall's corner. By the way, before I'll proceed explaining what you'll about to see in the next scene, take a look at this weird blue bench that seems to be so out of place.
It looks from like a baseball
listen
game.
To me, guys. Why would the literal toilets need a bench in their lab? Maybe this piece of furniture was added just for fun, but maybe Skibidi Base sometimes receives guests who are not entirely toilets. But what if some other race has been helping them all that time? Who knows, guys? I mean, that just would be cool and a bit more justified towards the toilets team, as the Alliance has 3 races fighting as one already. But moving from the bench, take a look at this engineer toilet. What kind of jetpack does he have? I see something like this for the first time in the entire series. He has not only 2 turbines, but 3 actually, with the additional one in the center. He also wears an ordinary hard hat, as if he was a construction worker or something. As he flies away, we get to see a bigger picture. There's this sort of conveyor belt with multiple Skibidi toilets on it. By the way, it seems like those toilets are of some newer generation of toilets to me, as I don't really recognize such a face type that the conveyor toilets have. I'm also really wondering, what does the process of Skibidi toilets production seem to be like? Are they being made in the image of certain people, or they don't require people anymore as they fully establish themselves as a completely new independent race? I mean, we haven't seen any people in the Skibidi universe in a very long run already.
Dude, it's
but
been
the
a
process
hot
of
minute,
the creation
chat.
of new toilets still remains to be some sort of mystery to me, which I hope to reveal soon. It seems I was right about the new generation of Skibidi toilets, though, as we are being shown more of an engineering room where the conveyor belt is headed to.
Dude, it's literally just like a car assembly line.
All those
it's like where
toilets
Teslas
with
are
some
made.
kind of acid barrels in
But
both
toilets.
sides. And take a quick
Skibidis.
look above. There you may see barrels with acid as well, and it looks rather intimidating. If that place was to turn into a battlefield, Cameraman would have a very, very bad time. And by the way, I have a theory about the necessities of such gear. What if Skibidi toilets are preparing themselves to fight Titan Cameramen, and that's why they are getting the acid ready?
I just think
Because
the Titans
as you
in
can
general.
remember from episode 55, acid is deadly for him. Besides that,
Imagine like 30 of these or more just going after all the Titans, dude. I mean, odds are they wouldn't be able to take it. I mean, acid goes through their defenses.
we can observe this huge room in general, and it looks like a plant ward for real. We're observing the conveyor process from the higher
For
ground,
real skis.
and there's also a lot going on below. Do you see these sort of office rooms in front of the opening POV is looking from? There are different Skibidi toilets sitting behind the computer desks, which I find to be quite funny. I mean, they are toilets after all, but that provides me with an interesting point. To produce Skibidi toilets, you need the supervision of a bunch of Skibidi toilets themselves. It looks kind of surreal, not gonna lie. And also, you can glimpse at the room where the conveyor Skibidi are heading to. It looks like a test room with something resemblant of a TV screen and a door. As the conveyor process keeps going on, it seems to be obvious that Big Cameraman with the blue shirt, who was the POV in the 4th part of episode 67, wants to fly into the fight immediately. He's already getting his rocket launcher ready, but then POV Plungerman shows him to wait with gestures. Big Cameraman is visibly upset. Look at the little hand gesture he does afterwards. What a nice guy. It's time for POV Plungerman to go. And as he gets closer to the opening, we witness something totally unexpected happening. As he crosses the gray line dividing the hall and the open engineering room in order to land there, we can see 2 signs appearing on the screen.
Yeah,
Transmission
bro. I'm really
error
curious
and
about this.
record-
So a lot of you, and I'm curious what he's going to say, but a lot of you are saying you think that possibly like Secret Agent was taking over here, trying to control him to like look around or something. So I don't know.
Error. What does
That's
it
what
mean,
the
you
green
ask
glitch
me?
is?
Well, guys, do you remember that all this time we have simply been shown those events happening inside of the Skibidi base bunker? But from the screen of Big TV Man that appeared in the end of the 1st part of episode 68?
Yeah, we talked about this.
That's right. Also, I think that those glitches that change the image quality are not connected to the Plungerman's camera, but to the Big TV Man screen as well. Probably POV Plungerman doesn't even feel or see anything different. So those two signs are actually stating that, firstly, the images we're seeing right now won't be transmitted to Big TV Man's screen at this point.
And I even said
secondly,
that during my reaction.
It also means that
that's
Plungerman's
100%
camera is not recording anything now, as the certain border had been crossed by him. And I would suspect that there is some sort of force shielding field protecting the base from the unwelcomed intruders. Now it's getting really spicy. As the camera slightly moves downwards, we now have an opportunity to see the ground floor of the engineering room. There is some small toilet driving back and forth. Maybe he is some sort of supervisor here, or maybe he's responsible for the mechanism's immediate checkups. Now the POV Plungerman turns around once more to take a quick glimpse at the red shirt cameraman and the rest of the squad behind his back. And wait a minute, do you guys see what I see here in this frame? Take a closer look at the yellow pinboard on the left. Do you see this sort of link printed in black font? This is the private link to one of the hidden videos from Dafook's original channel.
Humble Godzilla or something?
It was quickly shut down after the episode was released. But of course, the video has been leaked for the whole community to see anyway. This is the link to the hot Godzilla Animation video, where Godzilla the monster takes the place of a G-Man's clone to get beheaded by one of the Titan
Godzilla ain't hot, bro. That's weird. That's sus.
It's a pretty good-looking, funny video animation, but I believe it has no serious connections with an actual plot of Skibidi series. Now the real action starts. After POV Plungerman crossed the line and his camera stopped recording the occurring events, the alarm sets off, and the whole engineering room sinks into the unpleasant red light. All the conveyor Skibidi stop chanting Skibidi, Skibidi, and everyone turns their heads to the POV's direction. And then we see the best gift we could ever receive from Dafook on Christmas.
Breaking Bad!
Look at those two Skibidi scientists with yellow toilet tanks imitating the chemist's
Walter White
jumpsuits.
and Jesse?
These are
Cooking
our
some
beloved
meth,
Jesse
some
Pinkman
Skibidi
and Walter
toilet
White
meth,
from Breaking
drug
Bad
dealing?
series. In case you somehow don't have an idea who they might be and why are they here.
If you don't have an idea who they are, seriously, watch Breaking Bad. I think it's the second or third highest rated show of all time, right behind Game of Thrones, and I think it is number 2. But anyways, amazing show. Watch it. You won't regret it. You're welcome.
Those two are famous partners in crime involving chemistry and evading the police, if you catch my meaning, friends.
He was a chemistry
There's also
teacher.
another toilet on the right, staring right into our eyes from the window. I don't think this one guy is a reference to anyone in contrast with the two folks before him. He's just there looking funky, I guess. Then, one of the engineer toilets appears in front of POV Plungerman out of nowhere, and he looks a bit different from the one we saw in the hall. Now I finally got the chance to take a close and detailed look at this guy. And let me tell you, he does not look pretty. He has a wielding mask and a disgusting jaw that even seems to be loose, as if he was some sort of skeleton. You know who he reminds me of? He looks like Skibidi Welder from episode 47. The only thing missing is his long, sharp swords that we could see in the second part of episode 57. As the whole gang appears to be closer and closer to POV, Big Cameraman in the blue shirt decides to finally save the day. So he shoots at one of the acid barrels hanging at the ceiling, making it drop and blow everything up. By the way, check out this frame in the moment the missile was hitting the barrel. There's the number 2 on Skibidi Welder's mask. The only thing I can remember of is the episode 86 of Verlance's Skibidi Wars, where we could see the Skibidi toilet with an upgraded jetpack and the similar type of mask that also had the number 2 on it. Does it mean anything? I'm not really sure, although I can say one thing for certain. As the Skibidi series progress forward, they overlap with different multiverses more and more, and I'll prove it to you guys, but a bit later. So I wouldn't be that surprised to know that this guy actually has some connections to that. After Big Cameraman shots the acid barrel, Red Shirt Cameraman reacts just as quick and uses his special tool to close the door, not to let enemies cross the line.
And that reason makes me think maybe he's not a traitor?
But it's not safe and sound behind their backs, as the Big Cameraman gets attacked by one of the engineer toilets.
Large Cameraman, you a straight gangster, bro.
Luckily, the rocket launcher is still with him, so he releases a powerful shot right at the Skibidi's face. What a ton of damage, my dude. That looked quite marvelous. The squad is on its way to the elevator being opened by Red Shirt Cameraman before... But unfortunately, another threat is waiting to strike in the middle of the hall. Now guys, open your eyes and behold. The Isaac Kleiner Skibidi toilet, who's the prototype of the same named character from the game Half-Life 2. And oh my god, does he not look like a perfect toilet? The first thing I noticed about him was two blue guns with red dots in the center near his eyes.
Get up them
They're
07s,
identical
chat.
to the one Skibidi Scientist had in episode 30.
Get up them
I believe
07s.
Skibidi Kleiner has a more powerful and upgraded version of that gun. Besides that, he has two giant yellow lasers attached to his toilet tank, which look absolutely horrendous. There's one more thing I want to share with you guys. I am completely sure this is the same character that also appeared in episode 56 of Multiverse Skibidi Wars. And there he was a character responsible for creating the improved gun for G-Man. And that's why I said, guys, that Dafuk probably creates some sort of crossovers with other multiverses now, as I'm starting to see a crazy lot of references and links. Aside from that, Skibidi Kleiner has two types of jetpacks. One
see
for the
that,
speed
dude.
boost,
I see
and the
that.
other one for taking off. He's also got giant robotic hands and claws. It seems like he's all set. And I have another theory about him, guys. I believe he's much stronger and smarter than Skibidi Scientist. I predicted it some time ago already. I thought Skibidi Scientist was just an intermediate stage between the Alliance and the real Skibidi Mastermind. And to prove it to you, look at what happens next. He blows up a bunch of ordinary Skibidi toilets around him and rushes to the elevator where the squad members are trying to take cover. By the way, pay attention to this frame with the number 4 on the wall.
Gotcha.
Which is very weird, because if you remember, guys, in the end of episode 67, they were clearly on the ground floor. Or maybe they managed to go that deep by the beginning of this episode. POV Plungerman is lucky enough to already happen to be inside, but our buddy Big Cameraman is out of his luck. He catches the nasty, awful laser shot from Skibidi Kleiner, but before leaving this sinful Earth, he manages to return him the favor by blasting him from his rocket launcher. By the way, look at this speakerman in the red shirt on the right. This guy is hella smart. He lays low, not trying to mess around in order to stay alive. That's a clever thing to do. Unfortunately, Skibidi Kleiner doesn't seem to be bothered by it, and also by multiple darts poked into his face at all. He even smiles widely through the closing elevator door. What a creep. I got the goosebumps just looking at him here. By the way, I promised you guys to tell you my theory involving Skibidi Kleiner. Based on what I just saw, I'd want to say that he may be a robot. Just as it happened with Skibidi Scientist in episode 67.
I'll agree with
that, 100%. He doesn't receive any damage from the rocket missile at all, although it hit him right in the face, and he didn't even flinch when multiple darts stung him. My idea is, he may be completely mechanic and therefore incredibly difficult to put down. The elevator goes down, and now it's time to say goodbye to our Chad Big Cameraman. He was so brave here, just as
Cameraman,
Big
you're gonna be missed,
who
bro.
sacrificed himself in order to let these guys come inside. I will remember this guy too. He definitely deserves it. Thank you for being awesome, buddy. Besides, we can see that he's completely robotic inside. No signs of blood, just wires. He hands his protective lens over to POV Plungerman, and this lens is obviously too large for him.
I mean, come on,
but
bro.
I am sure it still will prove itself to be useful in the future.
Gentleman and a scholar.
Big Cameraman gives POV his final thumbs up and passes away. I almost have tears in my eyes, friends, but we've got to keep going. POV Plungerman turns towards the elevator door and slaps his plunger in anger. The guy is definitely in the mood to kick some ass in order to avenge his friend.
He's bloodthirsty,
The doors are getting open.
He is parched, and he wants some Skibidi toilet blood!
And on that wonderful note, the episode ends. Now, as we reach the finale, it's time to share my theory with you guys, as I promised to do earlier. As I was waiting for the second part of episode 68 to get released, I've made a bunch of predictions about what could we see in the bunker. And one of my ideas were that the inner content of the bunker would overlap with what we saw in the later episodes of Dom Studios' Multiverse series, meaning that we would experience a rather horror-like atmosphere with the references to the popular cultural pieces and with the bunch of new characters or upgrades for Skibidi. And as far as it goes, my predictions are turning out to be true. This long, spooky red corridor is a sign of further development in that direction. I think we will definitely see more of a Skibidi Kleiner, and also we'll find out who the red shirt cameraman actually is, a traitor or a Dafuk accomplice. Because as you guys remember from my analysis on episode 67, I've stated that there may be a possibility that Dafuk is helping the Alliance with the hands of this guy. That's why Red Shirt Cameraman managed to get into the position near the bunker door the first, as he had being guided by Dafuk.
And I'll admit, that does look sus that he's just chilling there,
but in that case,
I think if he was a legit traitor, back when they were about to come in, not there, but towards the end, like he was 10 feet when they're at the assembly line, right? They were like 10 feet away and he just zapped it shut to save everybody. I think if he's a traitor, he would let them die right there. Right?
Why wouldn't he save Big Speaker Man or let Plungerman get inside? Maybe he did it on purpose. And in that case, can we actually say that he's on the Alliance side, really? Or maybe he just has a privilege of knowing more than all of us. And maybe Plungerman simply shouldn't be here, inside of the bunker. I have a theory that Red Shirt Cameraman's goal was not to let Plungerman inside, but not out of spite, but due to something much more serious. Do you guys remember that Plungerman is the one having the camera that glows blue, similar to Camera Woman's? What if Plungerman's camera allows him to see something that he's not really allowed to see? I will be really eager to get to know this in the next episodes. Today's episode was full of new mysteries, and I'm looking forward to the part 3, which as I hope will be released next week. Please write your own ideas and theories in the comment section below, because I'm always really invested in reading them. And that was me, Isotoilet. See ya! Hello, everyone.
Peace out, Isotoilet. All right, let me bring you in. Hey, so something else we did find out today. There isn't gonna be a part 3. Dafook released the whole 68 episode. So the next one's episode 69, which I was totally shocked by because the way this ended left it wide open like it was at least gonna be a 3-parter, but I always get the hiccups on my outros. I don't know why. So, I don't know, man. Isotoilet, though, definitely hit the nail on the head. I do think there's a traitor. We definitely need some more to figure that out. But Isotoilet did an amazing job. And fam, again, tomorrow morning, my Skibidi Toilet original song, Simping for a TV Woman, featuring Elite Cameraman in Dom Studios, is premiering at 11 a.m. Eastern. So if you haven't yet, make sure you join the Sauce Gang by smashing that subscribe button and being part of the first 100,000 subs. Show Isotoilet some love by subscribing to his channel, and I hope you enjoy the rest of the day. And remember, it's a sleep and make beats, and as usual, be kind of one another. That's all I got. Boom, I'm out. Gotta be love. The Sauce Gang. Peace out, chat. Boom.